Hi.
Hi.
Season 2, Episode 2.
Stayfhomekins. I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
I'm Janie Hadad Tompkins.
I'm a comedian.
I'm an actress.
We are a married couple living in quarantine.
And you're caught up. In Los Angeles. We're not allowed to leave.
That's our show Bible. Today's a very weird day.
We're having, Paul and I have had an emotional day. We've had kind of like a series of bad news things happen.
Yes.
And
not to us personally, but to people that we
are in
know
our
and
lives.
love.
Yeah.
And like to the point where I asked
Paul was like, I don't want to do tonight. And I was like, someone just tweeted that they can't wait to have, that they needed a stay-at-home-kin.
I know.
And I was like, come on, we gotta.
It's like the thing where if we could have had another day, but we've sold ads, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. You can just be like, here's your money back. Well, there's.
Yeah, if you ever give it to us.
You know, but we want people to know about Green Chef and usual wines. Magic Spoon or whatever.
That's really what brought it around for us. Like the people have a right to know. So
here's how the day started. And also I know people, they want us to talk about the week. So
yes, which we will.
The week is sad already. The week is sad. And so just like how the day started. So I'm sure everyone else got hijacked by the news this week of what was going on. So most of my time the last couple of days has been like processing it with my friends, or I will, and that's online. I'm gonna admit it, but it's part of my process. But so I was FaceTiming. So I guess I'd mentioned very casually once on here that that there's someone in my family that I'm close with that I can't be close with now because I'm practicing compassion from afar in order to be safe emotionally.
Family shit.
Yeah. We have a complicated relationship, and he has a complicated relationship with alcohol. And I was FaceTiming with my mom, and in the middle of the FaceTime, she got a text that, you know, he went in the hospital last night, and you know, so many things went through my mind. I'm like, oh my God, was it COVID? He has an underlying condition. So on top of this, and you know, and then I'm like, maybe it was the underlying condition. Was it COVID? You know, blah blah blah. And I guess what happened was, he had decided that he was going to try to do a dry January, and had, you know, seized out from alcohol withdrawal and passed out, and then they had to call an ambulance. And anyway, I'm fine. I got my weekend water, ironically, as I'm talking about somebody's alcohol. Anyway, I believe he's going to be okay. I had a lot of emotions about it. I want to be close with this person, but I don't know how it's going to play out. So I'm trying to keep a good thought for him, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So then we had weirdness all day, you know, emails coming in. We were trying to work on this project with like 5 other people, 8 cooks in the kitchen, and
a little work weirdness.
You know, like weird crossed wires, or, you know, strange, you know, whatever. I had to do this dumb audition. I need to call my friend Nicole back. She left me a message this week. She has a ghost story to tell me, and I'm dying to.
A ghost story?
Yeah. Well, because it was from our last episode, and I'm like, I couldn't call her because of
I forgot.
because of the coup.
The ghost.
Yeah. So I couldn't call her because of the coup. And then I was like, I got to tape this audition today. Da, da, da. Well, then like.
By the way, when the guys busted in the Capitol, that's not shorthand for our beloved cuckoo.
Wait, what?
I couldn't call her because of the coup.
Oh, the coup. Not the cuckoo.
Coup, will you leave me alone?
Coup.
I got to call my friend Nicole.
Speaking of cuckoo, and then, I've been all over the map today. Like, I found out early this morning. So I'm a fan of Heather McMahon on Instagram. I follow her stories, blah, blah, blah. I've even met her in real life because I messaged her and I was like, I have to meet you in real life. And I made her meet me in real life. And her sister's a lawyer and they live in Atlanta. And her sister is the Georgia law lady. They has these commercials. And she's like, my sister's a fan. She wants to say cuckoo to y'all. She's like, she listened to all the stay of him.
Was that today?
Yeah. And I was like,
damn.
or maybe it was yesterday. I can't. All I know is I was freaking out and I was like screen capping it and sending my friend Samantha. I was like, oh my God, Georgia law lady. Anyway, so then Paul finally tapes my audition, which I know he can't wait for the pandemic to be over because...
No, I like helping you.
You do, and I have to say we've come a long way because this was not something that we used to be able to do
together. Because I would get too anxious about it.
And we would dissolve into an argument, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just, whatever. Like, I don't care. I don't care if it's not funny.
Now you're putting that.
I'm expressing my own frustration.
Yes, but you're making it sound like
what was your frustration?
You're
saying I'm not funny.
Critiquing your performances, which is not what it was. I would always say, if you asked me something, I would say.
Well, sometimes I would be like mad if you didn't critique because you just be like, yeah, give me the, I need 10 cc stat or whatever. And I'm like, cause it's like, put a little life, like.
I don't remember that. I would, the thing was I would get very overwhelmed by the responsibility and I was afraid to give you notes or direct you, even if you asked me, because I felt like I didn't want to influence what you were doing. Because it's your audition, and I don't know what they're looking for. And it's what if I tell you the wrong thing to do?
But I don't know what they're looking for either. Obviously,
right.
As I'm still auditioning for things and not being invited onto things. Whatever. All I know is that there was like a period in our relationship where this was like off limits. Where I was like, I'm going to Joel's or I'm going to whatever, And then it became like every single one you have to help me with now.
Right. And I feel like I got over my personal issues with it.
Yes, and I feel like and already it's like a heightened thing. Like you're going into this thing and you're already like like I don't know if nerves are the right word, but like you're already kind of like, I want it to be this. I don't want, why, I want the angle like above my nose, not, but, whatever, and it's like, I have like dumb, like blooper reel auditions of myself where I'm like bossing the person. I'm like, no, don't cut. Just keep going. Just keep, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm like a nightmare. Like I'm like agitated, like I'm on a heightened alert or I'm on a heightened trip or something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. But we got it done.
Anyway, now I'm just like taping pages to Paul's forehead, like I'm Marlon Brando. And I'm like, no, I got it. Whatever. Anyway, so we're working on this and I get like a phone call in the middle and I'm like trying to rush and I get home. And then about 2 hours before the podcast, we heard from a friend that a friend of ours died.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
A friend of ours who was young, like a little younger than us.
Younger than us. Sorry.
As far as we knew, we hadn't seen him in a bit, but as far as we knew, was in, decent health and
he'd stopped drinking.
Didn't have COVID. Yeah.
He doesn't do drugs.
Yeah.
He didn't have, an existing anything that we knew about.
Yeah. But another friend of ours found him, I think on his couch, right? Like
that's from what I understand.
Yeah. And that's kind of all we know now. And
I had just chatted with him. When was that? Like that viral drunk lady at the Arizona, and everyone was like making fun of her.
Right.
Cause I was like, he had texted me and was like, you should do like a sizzle reel of you. Cause I was like, I know that voice or, I know that state, and, he was like, let's do a sizzle reel. Send me the footage. Cause, I'll help you with it. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, I can't do anything right now. I'm depressed. But, anyway, we were just chatting about it and, I'm friends with his mom on socials. Cause he had come to our wedding. He was married before at one time and we went to their wedding.
I'd worked with him for years and
I just knew him he was like part of the M Bar. He was a fixture at M Bar where I used to work and kind of met all the comedy people when I first lived here. Anyway, he was a very good person.
Yeah.
And he was loved. He was beloved. So anyway, we were like debating whether or not we could be funny. We probably won't be funny. So.
Well, we couldn't not. We
couldn't ignore.
We couldn't just pretend. We couldn't just pretend like these things didn't happen. And, it's hard because when things like this happen, you're just consumed with it. And it's like, I don't want to get on a microphone and, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is all I can think about. And, then you go through that, it's the weird grief stuff of like, when you catch yourself not thinking about it for a second and then you feel guilty, Or
you remember it again and then you're stunned all over again because you're like, how can this person...
I have not fully wrapped my mind around it. And, it's... Yeah.
It's there's different levels to this right now too because of the times that we're living in.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt we would be seeing friends right now or like
100%
or having or
100%. We'd be gathering with people, we'd be talking to people.
And it feels strange to be sort of, we're in this, and honestly, the friend that reached out to tell us the news, who I had just been texting with this week anyway about other things, stupid internet stuff. But, I guess, he passed away because of something that was going on with his health. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I said to her, I was like, what a terrible time to have a serious illness in Los Angeles right now. Because we're living in COVID hell. I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, but there's no emergency room space.
They're putting people in gift shops.
They're putting, and it was hard not to think, well, was this something that could have been helped if we weren't living in a tough time?
Yeah. Under normal circumstances, would he have said, there's a problem, I should go to the hospital? But then did he think, well, I bet I can tough this out, or...
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
We don't know.
We might never know the answer to that question.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do know that we're all living in isolation. I know that part. So that must, we're all like dealing with this event now. Mm-hmm. And I know people out there have lost loved ones during this time. So, people have even reached out and told us, mm-hmm. like, this has been a horrible time because, my mom died of COVID or whatever. Like, and as much as you can empathize with people going through it, it still doesn't make it less strange, because you're like, oh, this is unnatural. This is not how you navigate events like this, And, yeah.
It's funny. It's like the thing about just continuing to be alive, the older you get, you experience so many different types of loss.
Yes.
And
yes.
Talking about death specifically, like I've lost people that I've known to sudden events, to long drawn out events. And it all amounts to the same thing.
Just a feeling of loss.
Yeah, it really
helplessness.
It's funny that because my parents have both passed on, but they passed on in different ways. My mother, it was a quality of life issue where she had so many different medical problems that a doctor said, "Here's what the rest of your life looks like."
Well, she was on dialysis, and it was increasing.
She had this condition where she had to keep having this fluid drain from her abdomen, and the dialysis she had to do. Then she had to get these trips to get the fluid drained were happening more and more frequently, and so between the dialysis and that, it was just a miserable life.
Yeah,
and so she elected to go off dialysis and let nature take its course. And so we all had a chance to say goodbye, spend time with her.
It happened pretty quickly too after
she like a
decided.
Week, I think. Yeah.
She went into like a hospice.
Yeah.
And
then with my dad, it was 3 quick traumas in a row. He got sideswiped by a car in a parking lot. Then he had he's in the hospital for a night, and they sent him home. Then he fell getting out of the shower. They sent him to the hospital. He's there for a day, and they sent him back home. And then he had a massive heart attack.
And he was like, he was in his 80s at the time.
Yeah.
And he walked a lot, though.
Oh, if I maintain that if he had not gotten hit by that car,
he wouldn't have deteriorated.
He would have made it to like 100 easy.
Yeah, because he had like his martinis every afternoon. Like he was like, he lived with your sister. The grandkids were around him. Going. He read the paper every like a crossword or something. He had
he had all kinds of.
He was a very routine oriented person.
Yes,
it sounded like kind of right.
Yeah, but all those things happened within a few days. So it was not like.
Yeah,
there was any preparation
It really
for
did
it.
Because I remember when, at the time, I was planning to go to like a girls' weekend in Vegas, and I was like, I don't know if I should go. And you're like, no, he's gonna be fine. My sister did. And then while I was there, you're like, my dad died, and you were alone, and I was like, oh, I can't believe I left you for this. But then we went and saw your family, and. Yeah. You guys that was the craziest wake I've ever. That wake, I never experienced. I hope I can talk freely about this. I don't want to talk freely about this if it's weird or in any way.
Not at all, honey.
You were 6 adult siblings.
I have 5 siblings. We are 6 adult siblings.
Yes, you are 6. Sorry. You are a family of 6 adult siblings, and your sister Anne was there. She came in, that had shared the same, even though you had totally different childhoods from one another because of the generational differences of being 6.
Yeah, there were a lot of similarities.
The overlap of your childhood trauma was shocking.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were like...
Well, just so people know, that trauma is my parents had a terrible marriage. And
stayed married till
stayed married.
Like, out of generational sort of, like... what?
I
Like,
don't even know.
Catholicism? I mean,
I don't even know.
But that their terrible marriage was not confined to the marriage. The terrible marriage came out in unhappiness in ways that was confusing to the kids and traumatizing to the kids.
It was,
to y'all.
For a little kid, it's not something you can really process.
Yes, and that it doesn't, and that it has nothing to do with you, right?
Yeah,
that it's like grown up stuff that you know. And at your dad's wake, it was like I'm not trying. I don't know if I'm going to describe this properly, but it was like y'all had just gotten out of prison. Mm-hmm. And there was like, giddiness is not the right word, but a sense of burden that lifted. And y'all were talking about your parents' marriage in front of me and other, like the grandkids or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was as if it had never been shared.
I mean,
in this way.
I mean, I would bet that certainly never as a group. You know what I mean? Never as that big of a group. I think that we've talked about it one-on-one here and there.
Well, you guys all went off and built your lives in different places in different ways.
And I don't think we ever had talked about it, you know, as a unit like that. And you know, this was very much a classic Irish wake. It was
rowdy.
It was rowdy. It went on for a long time.
It was like drinky.
Yeah.
It was like crying but a lot of laughing and a lot of like roasting, I guess. You might.
Absolutely.
I never experienced a death event like that. That was the first time I had been, because my family, like the Lebanese side, you know, like it's like wailing and
like jumping on the coffin, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's yeah. I mean, like my aunt died suddenly in a car accident when I was 18. My beloved aunt, and one of six. My dad's the youngest or whatever, and it was just like sobbing. I mean, like I was went to the funeral and it was like sobbing, and it was not like what y'all were like. You're like, well, another death or whatever. I guess that's it for the whole parents or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even understand this way of processing this loss. I mean, I've since experienced so many other, I mean, my grandmother died, whatever, like before my aunt died, you know, like I had experienced relatives dying. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like I hadn't yet.
Yeah.
But this was just so different culturally than what I had been around. Mm-hmm. Like that, like being able to laugh was weird, but also like I felt giddy. Like I was like, this feels like helium. Like I feel all these emotions. Like I was so sad and anxious and worried, and you know, and then
welcome to the family.
And then it was like this lifting of this, where everyone was just like unloading all this stuff. It was. I am not doing this justice. Like I am so awkward.
I think that you are.
No, everything I'm saying is awkward and not accurate.
I don't think so, honey.
Like
it feels accurate to me. I think you're describing it. I think you're describing it very well.
It was bizarre for me. I liked it to be there. Like I wanted to be with you for this. And I liked getting to know your family in this way. It felt vulnerable and intimate. You know, and I've since spent time with you and your siblings.
Yeah.
So that's not weird, but it was just like, oh, okay, here we go. This is the Tompkins clan. Like, off to the races. Because I had been there when your mom died. Yeah. Like, I had gone with you when you did that hospice visit.
Yeah.
And that felt different, too, because I didn't know a lot of history or family or whatever yet. And your older sisters, definitely like the care of your mom had fallen on your older, that lived in town. And, and that was,
and my brothers.
And there was like kind of like logistical things. Like,
absolutely.
Like you had to sell your childhood home after that. And like where was your dad going to live? With whom, and that was different in a way.
Yeah. That was the beginning of the end of an era. Like, when my mom died, who was the much more vocal parent for most of us, if not all of us. I think that my dad was probably more there.
He was the strong, silent type.
When my sisters were younger, I think he was more a figure in their lives than he was in me and my brother's lives. And this makes it sound like he lived somewhere else. He did not. He lived in the same house. And also in his own world.
He was not a talkative fellow.
No, he was not super chatty. But yeah, like the end of the house where we grew up, and where they lived all their lives.
And you guys, and what's so crazy is like you guys were this nuclear family that lived in one home the entire time, and and it's funny, like when I came into Paul's life, like I had all this messiness in my family history.
So you thought?
Yes. Like I had a broken and subsequently blended family, and moved a lot and lived in 2 states, and like I thought I was dealing with a lot, and I'm like, but your parents were married like your whole time. You lived in one home, like how is like, and you got to share the wall with your cousins. Like I still think that's like the greatest thing in the universe. But then it's like, oh no, everyone has, like, all families have their like
that's right,
issues, so it really did kind of open my eyes in a lot of ways. But so you guys selling that house was a huge kind of like marker.
Yeah.
And I guess had your cousin sold the other side of it a while before?
Yes, because their parents had died before my parents.
Because it would, just to catch people up, Paul lived in what it's called in Philadelphia a double, but it's actually what most people call duplex.
Yeah.
Don't know why they have a special word for it there.
Don't know, but it was two houses joined at a wall.
Which my brother lives in one. Yeah, in Philadelphia, yeah.
And I remember seeing 2 of my cousins go into their old house. They asked a guy, the guy who lived there now.
Oh, wow.
Can we go in and take a look around?
How old were you when that happened?
No, this is at my mom's funeral.
At the mom's funeral.
At the wake, yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw them come out of that house crying.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, well, that's a good thing to note. Never do that.
No, I don't. I like the idea of looking at old houses you used to. Sometimes I go on Google Maps and look up childhood houses.
Hey, that's because you've lived in 80 houses.
I lived in so many, in only the one.
If you lived in just the one, and to have it completely changed, like one of my cousins sent me some pictures. She happened to find herself on that street and took pictures of both houses.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize them at all.
Like kind of recently, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the landscaping was different. Like everything, it looked completely foreign to me.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it was wild. It was really wild. But that's like...
So you would never, if you found yourself on that street, you would not ask?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
You wouldn't have a sense of curiosity?
No, because I don't... It would be too... I think it would be too disjointing for me to be feeling like the familiarity or the muscle memory of, where the stairs are or whatever. Like, who knows how much it's changed? Like, to go in there and see it same but different or completely different, I think would really fuck me up.
Wow.
Yeah.
See... Yeah, I like the idea of exploring an ancient crevice of your childhood memory that way. Like,
But you're not. You're.
but it could jog a forgotten memory,
How?
like a good one, a smell or a spatial.
But it's going to be completely different. It's going to be so different.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's also like graves to me that, and I talked about this in a stand-up special that I did, but like when I was standing at my mother's grave, after her funeral, I realized I'm never coming back here again. Like, I'm not going to come visit a grave. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels, I've never felt a sense of connection to a person at a grave.
I guess it's more like a place to go and meditate on.
Look, whatever it is, I'm not knocking it for other people.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
And I don't need it to make sense to me.
Right.
I'm not trying to talk anybody else out of doing it. I just know that for me, it does not hold any.
Right.
It's almost the opposite. Like, it's easier for me to feel a sense of connection just sitting here years later than if I were to go look at a plaque on the ground.
In a public feeling area. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, that was...
So that was our day.
So that was our day, and we're in a weird headspace.
We're in a weird headspace. We should take a break.
But we had to kind of get that off our chest.
Yes.
We could take a break. We're going to...
Look, if you've listened to the show before, this is exactly what you bargained for. So don't act like this is a bait and switch.
What I think it could be fun is if we take a break and deliver some lovely words from our beloved sponsors.
That's right. When we come back, we'll talk about
the week. That's what I was getting at.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right. We'll be right back.
Guys, it's a new year. It's a new you. Have you ever wanted to speak to a therapist? Well, you can. I personally speak to a therapist, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. This is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online, and there is a broad range of expertise available in many areas. This service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. Please visit www.betterhelp.com. That's betterhelp.com/homekins. And you can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/homekins. We're so excited to be sponsored by Green Chef again in this new year. Green Chef is the first USDA certified organic meal kit company. Enjoy clean ingredients you can trust, seasonally sourced for peak freshness. Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit, offsetting 100% of its direct carbon emissions and plastic packaging in every box, so you can feel great about what you're eating and how it got to your table. One of the things I love about getting a Green Chef meal kit box is because I cook a lot, I don't have to do any of the mental planning. They do it all for you. They send you all the ingredients and a step-by-step recipe card, so you can have dinner whipped up together very quickly without any time spent on it at all. We have a great deal. Go to greenchef.com/homekins90 and use code homekins90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. That's greenchef.com/homekins90. Use our code homekins90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. Now that you've got your mental health taken care of and your dinners taken care of, what about breakfast? Well, I have an exciting offer from you from Magic Spoon. Growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid, but it's full of sugar and junk that you really shouldn't eat. If you're trying to cut down on carbs, sugar, unhealthy food, you should try Magic Spoon. 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. So many of you have asked, And now you can finally build your very own custom variety box. You can choose from the best-selling cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry flavors, plus brand new flavors, including peanut butter and cinnamon. It tastes amazing, honestly. It's too good to be true. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. But it's fun, full. So go to magicspoon.com/homekins to grab a variety pack and try it today. Be sure to use our promo code HOMEKINS and you'll save $5 off your order. That's magicspoon.com/homekins.
How is your coup?
Listen.
How was your coup?
I love you. You're very special.
Stand back and stand by.
All right, so it's Friday.
Friday.
And like everyone else, we watched the half-assed coup where everyone broke in. Nobody had a plan.
It was resulted in multiple deaths.
Yes, it was as stupid, exactly as stupid as you would imagine it would be, including
it was ugly.
multiple deaths.
I thought it was ugly.
Yeah.
It was like not beautiful.
It was not beautiful.
It was not like there was no pride. It was just screaming in anger.
Yeah, this was not fucking Les Mis.
There was no sense of like this is justice or the evening out of some misdeed or something like that. It was just like entitlement.
Yeah.
Anger.
Yeah.
Screaming.
Yeah.
Violence. Not even fashionably nice. Like their gear, the guy in the horns with the face paint. He looked like he was at like a hockey game.
He's an actor, you know.
Oh, I do know because I follow a lot of casting Twitter, and they were getting his picture out there as like a blacklist. I mean, he's going to be in jail anyway, so.
You know what? I hope so, but I feel like I'm interested in seeing what the consequences are going to be for these people.
I've been reading that it might be like some like dusty old charges, like sedition or
that's what's possible, but what is actually going to happen?
But I was reading. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, you're right. Anyway, I don't understand. I still don't understand. And maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember people being like, I'll fucking die for you, Obama, or whatever. Or Bush, I'm gonna, lay on these train tracks for you or whatever. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember having a firebrand president or like a demigod or whatever.
No, it's like, look, you can, there's a lot to say about the presidencies of all the presidents that we've had up to this point.
Be careful because you might get angry tweets at you if you do.
That's every fucking day. But like with the one that jumps out to my mind the strongest that's even close is Nixon talking about the silent majority, where a president was saying like our kind of people, like you and me, like you people are special, and that's what he did. For 4 years was like, you guys are the best. You people that support me, you're the best.
Nixon or Trump?
No, Nixon said there's a silent majority that agrees with me. I know how they feel, about this country, and he wrote the playbook that the GOP uses to this day, and blah blah blah. But Trump's weird, dumb style of just like rambling and talking off the cuff and everything.
Yeah.
It has the effect of making these people feel like, oh, he's my friend.
Well, and I didn't like Bush or something have that where they were like, I just feel like I could have a beer.
That came from them though.
Oh, okay.
That came from those people because that was like a sort of...
Because he says strategery.
Yeah, that was like an anti-intellectual, like this guy's cool because he's like me, I guess. I don't know. Ignoring the fact that he comes from, entrenched wealth and, is from fucking Yale and all this shit. But the idea that Trump made those people feel like everybody's out to get us, me and you,
Yeah.
And they're attacking us all the time, but we're the great ones. And so it's like you're talking to people that are susceptible, who have mush brains, and they're susceptible to that kind of influencing.
Yeah.
And so you get them all fucking wound up. And then at the end, like, what do you think is going to happen? If you're out there because of your dumb ego and you're saying well in advance of the election, the only way I can lose is if there's massive fraud. Like after 4 years, and these people are in the tank for this guy.
Yeah.
Like they believe everything that he says. Any fuck up, they're like, he did this on purpose. And, any kind of horrible thing that he does, they have a justification for it if they don't outright love it.
But this is the thing with cults, and because I like to read about cult stuff. We talked about this before, like the Vow or whatever. I don't like all these cult leader people. Like, okay, yeah, Dave Koresh was kind of nice looking.
Ooh, Dave! I didn't realize you were so close with him.
But like most of them, it's hard to see the charisma. Like I don't see the Trump charisma.
Yes, that is, and we've talked about this so many times. That's my favorite cult thing: is that the leader of the cult is always
never good looking,
and a weirdo, like just a weirdo.
I can get behind maybe okay, Ivanka's pretty. She looks like a model or something.
Yeah,
Melania looks like a model because she's a model. But there's no...
She looks like a model because, in fact, she's
is
a model.
She's fine.
She's fine.
I don't get the attraction. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
He doesn't even dress cute or Melania wears nice belts.
It's true. He does not dress cute.
What I'm saying is Obama was nice looking. Bill Clinton was nice look. You kind of had there's sort of a
These are
sex appeal.
Even George W. Bush is charismatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he would be kind of swaggery.
Yes.
I guess
he could occasionally be funny. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yes, the thing about
careful what you say.
Why?
Don't say anything nice about W because he'll come out.
Be like I'm Ellen.
Well, I said I got in trouble early pandemic over this article that came out because he was obsessed with pandemics.
Yes.
Cuckoo. Okay, Georgia law lady, there's your cuckoo.
Hi, coo. All right. Oh, really?
I had said even he would have handled the pandemic better, which was actually not a lie. Find the lie.
I
he wrote a pandemic playbook.
Yeah,
By the way, Fauci, AIDS, look it up, y'all. Google, people lost their fucking minds on me. And they were like, actually... they should have just titled everything "actually."
Actually, he wasn't good.
He did bad things, and I was like, "Oh, are you fucking serious?" Because I was in Manhattan for 9/11, so you think I wasn't pissing myself over cacistocracy? Because I was, and I could not believe the people that came after me for saying W would have been better in a pandemic when he fucking wrote a fucking pandemic book.
Yeah.
You fucking... I'm going to lose my mind over this. But so you can't say W's funny.
I know.
Because you're rewriting history.
Here's the thing.
You neoliberal.
I know.
Rewriting history.
I know.
Guess what? There's actual facts. And facts are still valued in America. And one of the facts is he loved pandemics.
He loved them.
And the second fact, he could be fucking funny. And I defy you to rewrite that history.
Here's the thing.
Don't change things in front of my mind.
Yes.
Because I know and I lived through the fucking aughts.
Yes. And
tell me what you're thinking.
Saying that George W. Bush would have handled the pandemic better than Donald Trump is not exactly praising George W. Bush so much as it is condemning Donald Trump.
Well, I think I also intimated that it was complicated to make decisions about war. I am so sorry I stated that fact.
Well,
because I don't think it's I don't think I said it that way, but whatever. I was sort of like pondering, like having to make foreign policy decisions, and people thought I was like hawkish. By the way, I'm an actress. Can actresses be hawkish?
I don't know.
By the way, I've never voted for.
I wish we had talked about this beforehand because now I don't know what you said.
I think I said something like, "Well, isn't it? Don't you think it's like?" It's like never black and white was sort of what I was like. There, like I was saying, like it was never black and white.
Well, although the Iraq War was, it was.
But we weren't talking about the Iraq War.
Well, I'm okay.
We were talking about like leaders,
right?
I was talking very.
Was this now? So this was probably not your original tweet, but then it got into replies.
It wasn't a tweet. I said on the podcast.
Oh, you said it on the podcast.
I said even W would have handled the pandemic better, and I was actually. I don't think I referenced the article, but an article had just come out in the WAPO.
I'm responding to the foreign policy thing that you said.
I think it was in the conversation where I was like, maybe it's not so black and white. Like maybe it's hard. Maybe it's da-da-da.
Oh, I sort of remember this now. This is a long time ago now.
And then yeah, well that's
an early episode. Yeah.
Well, guess what? You don't forget when people like treat you like a rock.
I understand.
Like a dumb.
I understand.
Whatever.
Yes, I understand.
I'm saying be careful about saying W had a sense of humor.
I know what you were saying. Yes, I do.
Because there are people that are like, I can't fucking believe people, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what? He did. I didn't find him in any way, shape, or form charismatic personally. Personally, I did not. I was devastated over the 2000 election. Like, I really admired Al Gore and still to this day admire Al Gore. And I think he's been on the right side of climate history big time. And when he was not the person in charge after that election was handed to W, I was scared for America.
Here's the thing. When people say, there's no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, there is a lot of that I can agree with, for sure. For sure. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish, because this is an important distinction.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of that. There is the American political system is so fucked up.
Right.
It's so broken. And it's not it's broken for us. It's not broken for the people that it serves, which is the American political system. It doesn't, its citizens, it's not serving as well. But you can't tell me that if Al Gore had been elected instead of George W. Bush, we would have gone to war in Iraq.
No.
Like, it's not like that was definitely going to happen in the absence of a Dick Cheney and all this stuff.
That's exactly right.
Like, so there are, I will grant you, there's too many similarities, but what differences there are tend to be huge.
But also climate crisis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and I'm reading Obama's book right now. I'm sorry for all y'all who fucking hate Obama. By the way, you might hate Obama. I still think you should read his book. And I'll tell you why. Because you need to understand. And I've read people's books in the past 4 years who I do not like. Yeah. Because I want to understand. I read Comey's book. Look, you think I like Comey? I think Comey is a fucking rock. He has a piece of rock for brains.
Wait, I got one. Hold on. You ready?
What?
Comey. More like Bloomy. Right?
Are you trying to get on like FM radio?
I'm trying to get on FM radio.
Comey Homie, that's what she said.
What? No. Comey, that's what she said.
By the way, he has a new book out, and I'm like, come on, dude.
No, does he really?
Oh, yeah. And guess what he says in it? This is the thing that, this is the thing, y'all. Read other people's things.
Get out of your bubble.
Because you don't understand something until you try to understand something. And just being like, well, Obama pushed drone buttons or whatever. Like, you gotta fucking know. And I'm telling you something. I'm on volume 1. Volume 2's not out yet. He's only on, volume 1 or whatever. And it is
Obama you're talking about, not Comey. Okay.
Obama. I don't think it would hurt anyone to understand the landscape of American government, because it is not simple. And when people tweet these simple things like, M for all, or fuck you, or whatever, it's not dealing with the reality. The reality. One person, thankfully, and I'm going to get into this in a minute because it's the coup week. It's coup week.
We hope from our family to yours, like we're wishing you a wonderful and blessed coup week.
It's like Fleet Week and
yeah.
Okay. It's like if one person could write a thing that says Medicare for all is a thing, that would make it easy. Okay. However, that's not how policy happens. And I'm not saying I'm against Medicare for all, because I'm not. And people are going to come after me because you said the word M for all, and you didn't say like it could happen with like a unicorn, like a blink. It can't, because we are not represented governmentally by a unified thought or ideal. Like, it is different out there. Mm-hmm. And there are people that have to vote on these things that don't think certain ways, or they have certain industries in their cities that they don't want to, and it's complicated is my point.
It is complicated. But I'm
not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's not a simplified thing like people act like it is.
But I think that, I don't think it's so much that people are acting like it's a simple thing, but that I think people like to pride themselves on being cynical, and everyone wants to express the thought that our system is corrupt. We should have Medicare for all, but all these politicians are in the pockets of the healthcare industry,
insurance,
the health
whatever.
insurance industry, and big pharma, and all that stuff. And that's true.
It is true. Of course, it's true.
So, yeah, it's not. I don't know who you're going to send to the White House who is going to make that big of a difference, given all the people that are very literally corrupt that are in Washington. People that don't even think that they're corrupt, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think it's a system that it's got to be so hard. If you go in there, even with, first of all, let's get this out of the way. People that run for public office, for like high office, that's a little weird. Like anyone who wants to be the president, that's fucking
messed up.
It's messed up.
It's messed up.
And so when you have somebody who has political ambitions like that, like grand political ambitions, they're very quickly going to conform to the thing that allows them to get higher in office. And I'm sure they are telling themselves that they're doing it all for the public good. And I think that they believe it. And I think that not everyone is so, I don't think that everyone is so cartoonishly Frank Capra movie corrupt. But I do think that it's a system that needs reform kind of from the bottom up.
Oh, you know what we need? We need to get the money out of politics, and we need term limits. And that alone would change things I don't believe that these election. Did you know they spent close to $1 billion for those Georgia Senate seats? Now, listen, I'm happy they bought all of the campaigning that was needed to get those seats because I wanted Georgia very much to elect Warnock and Ossoff.
Yeah.
Now, and obviously that's going to make Biden's appointments easier. You know, he may not be able to pass huge things because it's still a very slim margin. And I don't know if he's going to get rid of the filibuster, but I think he should. I do agree with Obama on that. Okay. So come at me. Oh my God, Obama. How could you agree with that?
Don't just
the filibuster
say
is bad.
what you want to say. Don't think about what people are going to say.
I just you're right. And I do say what I want to say.
Yes,
and I
you do.
always have. But I don't like when people are negative. That's my problem. If you have something to say and it's your opinion. Also,
honestly, the stuff that I've learned things from Twitter and I've had good conversations with people, but it always happens when somebody just wants to talk rather than just do like a dunk, you know, or lecture me. And it's rare, but it's possible. And look, I do it too. Like I like to fucking get out a good one on Twitter and make fun of people and all that. But I do try to meet people where they are. So if they say something genuine to me, I will say something genuine back. If they try to snark at me, I'll absolutely snark back at them. But it's not impossible for us to talk to each other on there or other places.
It's not, but one thing, I have a problem respecting people that just are dismissive and imperious.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how you lose people.
And they want to express their opinion to me that I didn't ask for. Okay. In a way that is you know, to me, it's like saying something about them, like they're grandstanding or, you know, and that doesn't feel intellectually honest to me.
Yeah.
You know, you know, you're not being intellectually honest when you're you know, you lost me. I was on board with you as a human individual until you said Bush could handle a pandemic. And you know what? Here's what I say to those people. Unsubscribe. Because you don't have to live your life with my opinion falling in your ears that you don't like. Because guess what? There's other people out there for you whose opinion will fall. You can follow Jimmy Dore or...
I feel like we were going to talk about the week and we're just talking about Twitter.
I was talking about all of it. Here's the problem. This is all related, though. It's all related
because
we have devolved as a society into a place where it's no one can live and let live anymore. Well, no one wants to live and let live.
Unfortunately, that's true. I mean, there is, you know, people like to say the world isn't Twitter and the life isn't Twitter, and it's I believe that, but you do see things happening in the world that make you think this feels like Twitter.
Well, definitely
guy walking around with a fucking Confederate flag at the Capitol building.
The thing about the coup, I don't first of all,
the coup. I have some notes.
I have so many notes on the coup.
We have many notes on the coup.
Where was the fucking guard? Number 2, why did the fucking Capitol Police open the fucking door? Why were they taking selfies? Why were they... I get your racism, but don't thrust it on the world. Why do we have to have you vandalize the people's fucking house because you're a fucking white supremacist?
Yeah.
Go be in your little white supremacist clubs. somewhere else.
If there's more, I mean, I feel like there's more people who aren't white supremacists than are, like that are vocal white supremacists.
Yeah, there's 8 million more.
I think they're the guys that need to start their own country. Sorry to say it. Instead of telling other people to go back where they came from, you guys got to go find a place.
Okay, that's okay. I had like a moment with like these anti-maskers because before the coup, there was a miniature mask coup in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And there were these viral videos going around before the coup. By the way, didn't even get a chance to talk about the phone call with Raffsperger in Georgia. The hour-long...
What do you mean you didn't get the chance? You can talk about it right now.
But I'm saying because of the coup.
Oh, right.
Like the coup.
Right.
He keeps upstaging his own shit with the other shit. Doesn't he? I mean, okay, so there was this miniature mask coup with these fucking idiots going around Los Angeles, going into the Ralphs and berating like grandmas shopping in their N95s for their fucking supplies because they probably can't afford the delivery fee. Like, you know, this isn't China. This isn't Iran. You know, I don't need to put on a mask. I'm not, I'm healthy. I took a COVID test 8 weeks ago or whatever. And it's like, let her shop or let them shop and then they won't leave and then they go in the Century City Mall and they're like singing YMCA and getting up in this woman's fucking face who was like, my mom's in the hospital with COVID, and they were like, people die, get over it. Like literally screaming these.
It's madness.
They're literally doing
madness.
They're doing and acting and screaming and behaving in a way to become viral. This is their thing.
They like to get. They like to be put on camera,
screaming and like railing.
They like people
to be videoed so that they can become heroes on Parler or whatever.
Yeah.
And so here's my thing that I get so mad about, and this is all. Oh my God, these people are so stupid. Josh Hawley. Okay, so there's too many stupid. Okay. So it's they're like. You can't come in here. You need to leave. And they're like, it's a free country and I can go wherever I want and do whatever I want. And they're like, no, actually we have a rule. This is like a business. and they're like, I can, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, let's say you're so angry about not being allowed to breathe your fucking COVID shit on my sick relative in the store. Because we're a free country, go open your own fucking stupid ass maskless grocery store for your own stupid ass maskless fucking friends.
Maskless grocery.
Go. You know why?
Maskless farms.
Because no one will be able to enforce that because it's your own fucking business and they can carry their own little, carrying cards of I'm a member of groceries, masks are not us or whatever. And so you can't make society your own. Society is society.
Yeah.
In America, yes, it's free. You're welcome to go open whatever fucking... And you can refuse to go to the hospital because you decided not to wear a mask. Hospitals are flooded. You can have your own hospital.
Also,
build your own hospital in your fucking garage with your own fucking ventilator. All right.
If you don't like masks, don't go to the hospital. They're
Definitely
all over the place.
If you hate masks, you don't want to be in there.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in there.
The idea of them starting their own grocery store is really funny.
Also, no, but you don't understand. I was like so enraged. And then that made me think of Hawley because he's so fucking stupid. First of all, he went to Yale Law School. Are they like, can anyone just go there? Because I might make a change. Like maybe I want one of those pieces of paper that said I went to Yale Law School that he's making completely worthless with his existence. So he gets dropped by Simon and Schuster for his treason.
Yeah.
And his book deal.
Yeah.
And then he's all like tweeting like, this is, I believe in the First Amendment and I will not be silenced. This is against the First Amendment. And I was like, okay, I didn't go to law school, but I know that the First Amendment doesn't get you book deals. Because if it did, we'd all have a book deal.
Yeah, it'd be ours by right.
Like if I send my pilot out this year, if I ever do my rewrite, sorry to leave y'all hanging because I never did my rewrite, but I'm gonna eventually. And they pass on my pilot and they don't buy it. That is not a First Amendment right infringement. Okay.
It should be, though. I wish that it were.
If Netflix says, we don't want this, I'm not going to go tweeting like, Netflix has silenced me.
Netflix passed on my one special 2 times. That's double jeopardy.
It's so Orwellian. That's so Orwellian.
I have to say, shout out to my
pissed.
friend Casey St. Ange. I think we've mentioned her on this show before. But she said she was mad that she tweeted that she didn't. Well, I have to find the tweet because I don't want to try to paraphrase it and get it wrong because it was so funny. And she came up with a word, a funny word that I had to text her. I'm jealous that you said this.
Well, now Casey has her own podcast we should plug. I was listening to this week with Busy Phillips. It's called Busy's Doing Her Best, I believe is the title, right? Did I mess up the title?
Busy Phillips is doing her best.
Busy Phillips is doing her best. And it's really fun, and they have like really fun conversations. And of course, I love Busy, and I love Casey, and all the people they have on there are really great. I want to meet in person one day.
Here is me too, because I've only, we know Busy and Casey. But we don't know Shantira, who's hilarious.
Okay, and she just had her breast reduction. She was talking all about it. Was like I was like so happy for her. I was like, oh my God. Oh, anyway, that's a fun podcast. Okay.
Here's Casey's tweet. Somebody took my latest book deal away by not giving it to me in the first place, and it is positively Snackwellian.
Casey's hilarious.
Snackwellian made me laugh so hard, and then I was like, oh, I wish I'd thought of that. Snackwellian.
Remember Snackwells? Are they still around?
I remember Snackwells are still around. That was then we started talking about that when we were texting.
Guys, Snackwells aren't yummy though. They're not yummy.
Here's the thing. Snackwells, do they taste like science and chalk? Yes.
You like that.
I could still eat them though.
Yeah. You like chemicals.
I'm able to eat chemicals.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Casey who brought me.
Oh my God.
Casey and her husband Matt.
It was on Christmas, wasn't it? It was on Christmas night.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was.
That's too much. That's
Wasn't
too
it?
much.
It was because remember, like Mark and Christina left that box on Christmas. It was like, and I was like, people keep bringing us things
on the day, like,
or was it Christmas
no,
Eve?
it was not Christmas
Day
Eve because Christmas Day was weird, and we did a podcast that night and talked about how weird it was.
Oh, it was Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas Eve, maybe
because you couldn't get your eggnog from all of our food deliveries.
Yeah, and they brought me some eggnog,
but it was pumpkin flavored.
It was pumpkin, which I thought was going to be maybe off, but it just ratcheted up the nog part of eggnog like by 2 degrees.
I don't agree, but like here, like
it was exactly what I needed.
I know,
it was
like
exactly what I needed.
Casey and Matt are going to hear this, and I feel bad, but I was like, oh, it kind of tastes like chemicals.
Well, darling, you have more refined taste than I do.
Let me taste it, and you're like, I like. It
was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted.
Perfect, and I was like, I can't believe you didn't have it.
Supermarket.
He drank all of it.
I drank all of it. I finished it on the expiration date.
I'm like, whatever. Anyway,
fucking got me through. It got me through those 12 days of Christmas, baby.
I'm so upset about the coup for so many reasons. I mean, I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm also, if we can cure COVID, we can't. We haven't. If we can come up with a vaccine, if we can come up with a vaccine for COVID, this brand new, whatever, I mean, like the science has taken us. I mean, it's miraculous. Okay. Okay. How can we not figure out how to unhack these people's brains who believe the lies that they have been told?
I know.
And another thing, this is one of the things that got me on fire. And if you follow me on Twitter, you heard me rail about it. Clarence fucking Thomas.
His wife.
Jenny fucking Thomas. Clarence fucking Thomas's wife is MAGA mad.
Yeah.
And first of all, if you're on SCOTUS, I didn't even know you could have a spouse going off on Twitter. Okay? People get fired for saying whatever on Twitter.
I think it was
Ken Jennings won't get to host Jeopardy because he made it very insulting and off-color jokes like years ago about disabled, which was horrifying. And has since said that he's learned his lessons and he won't get to work on Jeopardy. But Clarence Thomas can have a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court while his fucking spouse is out.
Because here's the thing. It's not that there was ever a rule against it because just nobody ever did things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like the Supreme Court was always...
My friend works for public radio and was not allowed to sign a petition this afternoon.
What was the petition?
About ousting Cruz or whatever.
Wow.
There is literally a rule against political activism in PR. And so she can't, and good for her. She follows the rules. And
what if you want to save a beloved tree in your neighborhood?
Well, that's not the same thing, I don't think. But you know what I'm saying, though? Like she couldn't sign the petition.
Yes.
But
wait, here's what I'm saying is that I think for years it was just a thing like, of course, if you were the spouse of somebody on the Supreme Court or somebody in government or whatever, you would not. You'd respect your spouse's situation. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't weigh in because it would bring trouble. It would be like, it was like a thing that wasn't done in the way that like when the Clinton affairs were happening and when they were trying to impeach him for lying for this bullshit thing just so they could impeach him because they couldn't make it happen with other avenues. And they're like, well, at least with this, we can say he lied under oath about not having sex with. He said, I did not have sex with that woman. But like all these other presidents fucked around their wives all the time and nobody cared because it wasn't a thing. It wasn't like. Well, that wasn't his crime, fucking around on his wife. No, it wasn't. It was lying about it. Yeah, well, exactly. But who cares? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. What does it have to do? Wait. No. Sorry. I'm seeing activity on our tree. You're fucking scaring me. It's not scary. Okay. It's the Santa Anas. No, it's the Santa Anas. A few weeks ago, a friend of mine bought one of those picnic benches for squirrels. Shit. Here we go. And put it out in her tree. And then she showed me video of a squirrel sitting on the little picnic bench. And I was like, I need that in my life. He fucking got one, y'all. I got one. It came the other day. He put it on that tree so fucking fast. Put it in a tree. He was out there in the dark. It comes with a little... There's two serving ports. You have a picture, I think. Yes. There's a little galvanized bucket. Right? For peanuts. And then there's also like a little screw, just a screw that you can put like an apple on or like a corn apple cob. Core. Or a corn cob because that's always the thing in the picture is the corn cob. Doesn't it look like something's on the tree, but it's just the wind? No, we have Santa Anas. Yeah. Well, I felt like Paul was excited. He wanted the squirrels to come and he put it out. And like literally 5 minutes later, he comes out and he's like, they haven't come for the peanuts. Excuse me. It wasn't 5 minutes later. It felt like it. It was a day later. And he's that pile of peanuts is undisturbed.
You gotta. But I told you. I
forgot about your theory.
You only need one squirrel. And once that one squirrel
That's right.
gets a hold of that peanut, the squirrel community gets alerted.
Now,
so it's not going to be like, once it happens, it's going to happen.
I don't know this about squirrels.
Neither do I.
Is it possible that a squirrel stumbles upon this bounty
Yeah.
and says, I'm going to fucking keep this to myself?
No, that's not how they are. They're socialists. That's not how they are, y'all. That's not how they are.
Can we talk about...
If that's how they are, then why when I put those fucking disgusting, syrupy, sugary ant traps out, all the ants come from all over
Honey, I hate to ask you
to
this,
take
but
it back to the queen.
do you think squirrels are ants?
No, I'm just saying animals in general.
Right.
There's an animal kingdom code.
They have their own little gangs, though. You don't think that ants and squirrels have the same code?
I think they do.
I think that's racist. Let's talk about Trump
Squirrels are not a monolith.
Let's with ants. Let's talk about Trump getting his Twitter account suspended indefinitely, which is...
I thought it was permanently, not indefinitely.
Well, isn't that the same thing, essentially?
No.
Indefinitely means at some time we could reinstate your Twitter account.
Yes.
So you're right, permanently. I apologize.
But here is the thing I'm happy about besides him carrying some... Okay, he had like 80 million followers. Maybe half of those were real. I felt like just from like a monetary point of view, because he's a grifter. This is his, all he only cares about money for himself. He doesn't.
He loves only gold.
So once he became a private citizen with an account like that, like in monetary terms, that is a valuable account. Like you have a way to commercialize this social media life because you have 80 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can sell ads, you can do whatever,
Yeah.
you can promote.
Exactly.
Whatever. And because they took it away, I think the reason it bothers him is partially the financial worth.
I'm sure that's part of it
Okay.
because his most fervent people are online with him, but I think
Can't monetize Parler.
I think more
Can
than
you?
I think more than the money. I think it is that it's the thing that he loved to do more than anything, and the fact that it's been taken away from him is really funny and great.
I don't understand why they didn't do the 25th. I mean, I read about the 25th. It's not a perfect solution because it doesn't remove him, but it
Right.
would have said something.
Yes, but if they do, from what I understand, if they do impeach him again, they can make it so that he can't run for office again.
If the impeachment goes to the Senate trial.
Right.
Here's the problem, because if they impeach him again, I was very excited because I was like, oh, if there's a successful impeachment, unlike in 2019 where the impeachment failed in the Senate, it passed in the House and didn't pass in the Senate. If it passed in the House and the Senate this time, he doesn't get Secret Service detail. He doesn't get his $1 million a month or whatever the fuck he gets of our tax money.
It's so funny to think about that if the president gets impeached, no, you don't get security anymore.
You're on your own, man. You're on your own.
It's like you were never president.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
What a crazy country this is.
So my friend reminded me that when Nixon was impeached, did he get impeached in the House or it didn't go that far?
He did get impeached, and then I guess it didn't go to
The Senate.
It
didn't have a
because
trial
he
in Senate.
resigned to avoid that.
So basically, here's the deal. So I guess when Nixon was impeached
Or did it because Ford did pardon him?
for crimes, not for he still got his security. He still got his $1 million.
Oh, right.
every 5 minutes or what. Okay.
Every 5.
So basically, here's the deal. When Nixon was impeached, had it gone to the Senate trial and they had voted to complete the impeachment, like to essentially remove him, which is where they stopped with Trump in 2019. Mm-hmm. They did not vote in the Senate to remove him. Then if it had gone through, he would have lost all of the perks.
Right.
If you resign, you still get the fucking perks.
Mm-hmm.
So Nixon knew, well, God, if I get totally impeached, I mean, I'm going to lose the perks. I may as well. The better deal is for me to resign because they're obviously going to get rid of me anyway. Mm-hmm. And I can still keep this lifetime pension or, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so if Trump were impeached now, who's to say it would go to the Senate and be completed to the point of him losing his post-presidential benefits? The reason I hope it would is because if he's not allowed or barred or whatever to run in 2024, because here's the truth, and I know we have Trump supporter listeners, and I'm sorry that this is happening to you with him, actually.
I'm not.
Well, listen, if you're in this group and it was like your life and now you're being betrayed,
Look,
whatever.
Here's the thing.
Anybody can believe any. I mean, like
I know, but here's the thing. There's a difference between people who voted for Trump for whatever financial reasons, whatever, and the people that were in on shit like this coup stuff that are QAnon believers and everything. It is like I hadn't thought about it fully until today. How tragic it is for a lot of these people that were like, we really believed this, and all of these things that we were told were going to come true didn't come true.
Well, yeah.
And now what do we do? Like, people have lost family members because they got sucked into this terrible fucking thing.
Yes.
And it's like, as much as I despise it, I feel my heart does go out to people that are like, I don't know what to believe now.
It has to go out to people like that, and I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. Because it can happen to any of us. It really can.
Well,
it really can.
Yeah,
you can be in a low point in your life, or
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Or you can be in a community where you're surrounded by a certain element, and
that's
you
true.
start, and so.
And if you don't know the signs of these types of things, then you are more susceptible.
Yeah. People who know and go along with it, they are the despicable ones. And like Lindsey Graham, I mean, come on.
What a worm that guy is.
But like, here's the thing. Here's the thing is like, if he were barred from running in 2024 because it went to full fruition on the Senate floor and they impeached him with like 3 hours left in his term, which would be fine with me. And he was barred from running in 2024, I actually think that would be positive. It'd be like you telling your 16-year-old daughter she can't see the Hell's Angel guy. Nothing against Hell's Angel. I'm just making
something against Hell's Angels.
I'm making a generic. You know what I'm doing? I'm making like
I think you're okay to say.
A generic cliche.
You don't have to worry.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm making a generic cliche.
I do. I don't think you ever have to say nothing against Hell's Angels.
No, Hell's Angels can be good too. Like, whatever. Okay,
We'll have this conversation off mic. Because I don't know what the fuck
I don't
you're
think
talking
all
about.
like that, like roadster culture, whatever.
No, there's a specific
like,
group.
If you're
Anyway,
saying to your 16-year-old daughter, you are not allowed to see that 35-year-old man
who is 35 years old.
Who's taking you to this party where they're smoking dope and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like, if they were to take away his ability to run in 2024, it would be good for those people because Trump is a con man, period.
Yeah.
He's a con man, and this is all about the grift for him. He wants the money. He would run in 2024 specifically as a grift. It has nothing to do with any kind of high idealism.
He'd raise all that campaign money and then he'd just keep it. Now, here's the thing, is that the one thing that Trump did inadvertently that was good is that he turned the rock all the way over in America. And so now we see what we truly are. And now
Yes.
we have to work on that. And I think that we have to get as many people as possible to admit this is who we are. So all the shit about like this is not who we are, blah 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 blah. It's like no, you can't just pretend that this has not been a part of us and that it's been, not even dormant but quieter for a long time. Like we gotta learn from this, and we gotta make things better.
But that's what I'm saying. We can come up with a COVID vaccine in less than a year, but how do we deprogram people who are so angry? And listen, I don't want these people at the Capitol who died to have died, but the woman who got shot for breaking the law and died, I saw videos of her just screaming pure vitriol.
Yes.
And God knows I would hate if I died and they just clipped out a piece of stayfhomekins and I was like, railing about COVID or whatever. But like, and she was a full human being with loved ones and a history as a veteran. And,
yes.
But on the other hand, she was doing something illegal that was dangerous, that was protected by armed people. I mean, she was an adult,
Yes.
and knew. But I'm saying, like, the point is, how do we reach people who are so angry all the time about the state of something? I don't know what they're angry about. They're angry about the state of something, but their lives are probably better than mine. So
I don't know. I mean, it's like it's tough because people are willing to lie to them to reinforce their worst fears, their worst unfounded fears, and it's I think there's like a mental health element to this. I think America is sick mentally. I agree.
And, I really do think if you need help, you should ask for help.
This sounds like a good political cartoon. Can you imagine?
I really do.
America
on a couch.
America on a couch, right?
Then there's like Dr. Freud.
All right, we got to wrap it up. This is like one of our longest episodes.
Yeah. Well, guess what? There was a fucking coup.
I know. All right. Do you have any recommendations by any chance?
Oh, really? I mentioned Obama's book, which I'm very much learning a lot. And I also mentioned Busy's podcast. People have been recommending things to me, and I've been loving it.
Oh, nice.
Actually, because I've been sort of like checking out new podcasts and, I don't know.
Can I recommend one that I just started listening to today, which is called Keeping Records, and it is
about vinyl, like about vinyl or something.
No, it's not. Isn't that funny? It is about a certain type of record.
A medical record?
No, it's about the jumping. It's an interview show, but the jumping off point is the gold records that were sent into space by NASA years ago. And so the host asked people, what would you send? What would you put on a golden record that you would launch into space? And
you mean like what musical record or
anything? Anything? No, it's any sound, any experience, any whatever. What would you want to communicate to alien races out in the universe? What do you think is essential for them to know about?
Memes.
With just all memes?
Yeah, memes. What would you send?
I'm in the middle of a recommendation right now. I'm trying to look up the details.
I thought that was the recommendation.
No. God damn it. What do you mean? The recommendation is the podcast.
The records. I thought you said it.
Yeah, but I'm trying to look up the host names. It's Caleb here and Shelby, who I don't know. God, honey, you really fucked me up with this.
Oh my God, y'all. This is going to be a long night.
It already is a long night.
This is going to be a long night. Oh, my God. There's Santa Anna's out there.
You go ahead with your recommendations.
I have a recommendation. I realized I discovered through just, listening to music, like sharing with my friends and stuff. This country artist named Arlo McKinley.
Oh, yes.
I love his new album.
Absolutely.
He's from Ohio. His name is Arlo McKinley. His new album is Die Midwestern. He's from Ohio. Here's what's interesting about him. A few things. Number one, he used to have an opioid addiction. Many of the songs are about that experience. Number two, John Prine,
The late, great John Prine,
who we lost to COVID. He discovered Arlo McKinley, and this is like his first album on, which is on John Prine's label, and that came out posthumously of John Prine, not Arlo McKinley himself. Number three, he did not become discovered as a singer-songwriter, country music artist until like his 40s.
Yeah.
And I find that so relatable and poignant. Not because I'm in my 40s yet, but when I am, I think I will understand
You probably will.
why I liked it.
So Arlo
McKinley.
It's a great album. We've been listening to a lot.
I want to play it right now, actually.
Yeah.
As soon as we
wrap up here, we'll
I want to
play
play it.
Caleb Heron and Shelby Wolstein. And the name of the podcast is, Keeping Records. And it's great. So that is one I just discovered today and started listening to. And really
How'd you
enjoying
discover it?
That's a good question. I
Were
don't
you
know
just
how
like
I discovered
scrolling
it.
or
I
something?
think I had finished a podcast and it was recommended to me on the podcast app.
Oh, like through the app, like new and noteworthy
Yes.
or whatever.
But Caleb, I'm a fan of on Twitter. He's really funny.
So you knew of him before.
Yes, he does a lot of funny. He's really funny on Twitter, and he does a lot of funny videos and stuff on Instagram as well. And I thought he was hilarious. And then I saw his name. I had no idea that he had a podcast.
Oh,
And
that's fun.
Shelby Wolstein is also hilarious that I've just been introduced to through the podcast. It's pretty new. There's only a few episodes, but get in on the ground floor, guys.
What do you have any Zoom shows coming up?
Oh, the next Zoom show I have, and honey, I hope this is not going to be a problem,
Oh,
but Valentine's Day.
it's a huge problem.
It's me and Lauren Lapkus, because we couldn't do our traditional first Monday of the month
Right.
spot.
She had something going on.
She had something going on. She's always got something going on.
Yeah, she does.
But we're doing Lapkus and Tompkins Palentine's Day.
I love that.
Because we're pals.
Sweet. Yeah.
So
I like it.
be our pals and watch the show.
Oh, good.
Tickets will be going up very soon.
Where again?
PaulFTompkins.com/live.
You can also find our podcast at Stay of Homekins on Instagram, at Stay of Homekins on Twitter, and we do have a Gmail, stayofhomekins@gmail.com. Y'all send sometimes pictures or, links, and you send drawings and artwork. Oh, my God. Y'all are the best.
You really are.
Y'all are the fucking best.
We love you guys. Thank you for listening to the show.
This is my happy place. Is being on the podcast and knowing like we're communing with these people out there.
It's nice, right?
Good.
Yes, it's
nice.
nice.
And don't forget our merch, www.kinshipgoods.com, official Stay of Homekins.
Can't believe you say the W still.
Official
Go to http:// www. She's flipping me off. Double bird.
Double bird, baby.
All right, we gotta go.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Should I turn it up?
Don't do the turn it up.
Okay. We need to get funny on this podcast again, because if we get funny on the podcast again and come up with some weird shit, we can come up with a new merch.
It's true.
Idea for Kinship.
So come back next week. We might be funny again. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay safe, stay sane, and stay home.